Markets continued to fall on Monday as Donald Trump refused to rule out a recession amid rising prices and confusion over his on-again, off-again trade war. And now Trump's cabinet is fighting with Elon Musk over Musk's efforts to dismantle the federal government. For more on this, it's time for a closer look. Donald Trump brags about many things, but when he was president the first time, there was probably nothing he bragged about more than the stock market.
I think we've created a stock market record 38 times or so, might be more than that, but 38 times we have a record stock market.
We're doing better financially than we've ever done. Our markets are hitting records all the time. I have many, many records of the highest stock market.
The stock market is way up again today, and we're setting a record literally all the time.
Oh, no, don't tell me that on top of everything else, Trump is also one of those people who uses the word literally when he means figuratively. We're literally setting a record all the time, and my new stepmom is like literally the devil. As we've explained before, the stock market is not the economy. The wealthiest Americans own the largest share of stocks, and while stocks were hitting all-time highs, inequality was still soaring. That was true under Joe Biden, too. Although even under Biden, Trump claimed credit for the stock market.
Trump posted earlier today, let me put it up on the screen. This is the Trump stock market because my polls against Biden are so good that investors are projecting that I will win, and that will drive the market up.
I think the stock market's going up because I'm leading Biden in all of the polls. I think there will be a crash if I don't win.
The Biden team can say, well, if things are so bad, how come the stock market's on a roll?
Because they think I'm going to be elected.
That you think the stock market's rallying because people think you're going to be elected?
I do, yeah.
I love how Fox hosts have to talk to Trump when he says something insane. They can't just say that's not true, so instead they repeat his own words back to him with a raised eyebrow. That's how you talk to your fiance's parents the first time you meet them. Oh, so you think the Super Bowl halftime show was a DEI plot to indoctrinate America with wokeness? I do, yeah. But you heard Trump there. He said if he didn't win the election, the stock market would crash. Now, I bet you're expecting me to play a clip that proves the exact opposite. Well, I'm not going to do that, okay? I'm not your monkey. I don't perform for your amusement. I don't dance when I hear a little bell, and I don't play clip montages proving Donald Trump wrong when you want me to, okay? What's that? We do have a clip proving Trump wrong? And I do dance when a little bell rings? Woo-hoo-hoo! You know what that means, baby? It's clip time.
Breaking economic news this morning. Stocks beginning the day with a sharp dip.
Another big market sell-off. 800 points for the Dow, in fact, right now. We're pretty much at session lows. The S&P is down 2.75%. The Nasdaq down 4.25% for its worst day since 2022. Dow's negative on the year. The Nasdaq's down 9%.
Look, there's clearly concerns about the economy, about all this uncertainty. JP Morgan's David Kelly, he told me that right now a lot of business people are like deer in headlights, and that is a very dangerous place to be.
Now, to be fair, Trump only said the stock market would crash if Biden won. He never said it would do well if he won. For all we know, his point was, look, Maria, it's going to eat either way, so let's have some fun and get a crazy person back in the Oval Office. Also, did you hear him? A lot of business people are like deer in the headlights. I think everyone's feeling like a deer in headlights right now. Have you seen the Democrats lately? I swear. I saw Chuck Schumer the other day eating grass by the side of the road. Even Trump's aides look like deer in the headlights. I mean, look at FBI Director Kash Patel's headshot. Dude always looks like Wile E. Coyote after he realizes he just walked off a cliff. So when Biden was president and the stock market was soaring, it was because of Trump. And now that Trump is president and the stock market is falling, you'll never guess whose fault it is. Oh, what's that? You already guessed?
Joe Biden left Donald Trump a really lousy economy.
We're transitioning from Bidenomics and this terrible economy that was delivered by the last administration.
Donald Trump walked in with a crappy economy.
I want to make sure everyone understands. Trump has inherited a god-awful mess from Biden, and it's a cleanup job that we're watching right now.
By the way, that's why I said earlier it would be Biden's recession.
I'm starting to feel like the business in Fox Business is the same as the business in Monkey Business. It doesn't mean things of an economic matter, but rather shenanigans. I'm going to start telling my kids, we're having dinner at a fancy restaurant tonight, and I won't stand for any Fox business. So let me see if I understand that. You're saying when the economy is good under Biden, Trump gets the credit, but when the economy is bad under Trump, Biden gets the blame. What you're saying is that the stock market is falling under Trump because Trump inherited a bad economy from Biden, but when Biden was president, the economy was so good, Trump deserved credit for it. I just want to understand. So when the stock market is rising, it's because investors think Trump is about to become president. But then when Trump does become president, the stock market falls because the economy under Biden was so bad that the stock market was rising because investors were hoping Trump would take over. The stock market would fall because the Biden economy was bad when Trump took credit. Is that what you're saying? Is that what? Just tell me. Is that what you're saying? Woo! Time to dance. And guess what, guys? Guess what? Now that the stock market is falling, Donald Trump is saying, you know what? Maybe we shouldn't care about the stock market so much.
You said, look, we're going to have a disruption, but we're okay with that. Is that what you meant? The stock market going down was the disruption? What other disruption were you alluding to?
Look, what I have to do is build a strong country. You can't really watch the stock market.
You can't really watch the stock. That's all you've talked about for a year. What do you want us to watch instead? Maria, it's a mistake to watch the stock market when you should be watching Severance. What a show. It's a great show. It's the only show Melania and I watch together. If I get even one episode ahead of her, she looks so mad, which is saying a lot, because she always looks a little bit mad. But we love the Severance, and we love Lumen Industries. They're doing such great work over at Lumen. Not getting enough credit for it, if you ask me. The stock drop-off is due in large part to the anxiety and uncertainty over Trump's tariffs, which he has now announced, implemented, paused, announced, implemented, paused, and announced again. These tariffs have been more on again and off again than Ross and Rachel. That joke was brought to you by NBC's must-see TV lineup, Must-See TV, now available to stream on Max. No one knows if the tariffs are happening or when they will happen, or for that matter, why. Trump says they're reciprocal tariffs that he's implementing on countries that already tariff American goods, and that he's doing it because it will raise a lot of money and help farmers, none of which is true. His advisors, however, say it's because drugs are pouring in from Canada.
We launched a drug war, not a trade war, and it was part of a negotiation to get Canada and Mexico to stop shipping fentanyl across our borders. I can tell you that in the Situation Room, I've seen photographs of fentanyl labs in Canada that the law enforcement folks were leaving alone. Canada's got a big drug problem, even in their own cities.
Canada could do a lot more. Canada has been taken over, Brett, by Mexican cartels.
But they are the politest cartels we've ever had to deal with. The Canadian cartels are so polite. They're always like, hey, welcome to our drug lab, eh? Would you mind smoking a little meth to prove you're not a copy? Now, that's an obviously insane thing to say, and rhetoric like that is obviously rattling the markets along with rising prices and fears of a recession. Surely the president can reassure anxious Americans that he'll do everything possible to avoid such a disastrous outcome, right?
Let me stay on the economy for a moment, because there are rising worries about a slowdown. You've got the Atlanta Federal Reserve saying we're going to have a contraction in the first quarter. Look, I know that you inherited a mess, and you said that the other night.
I've only been here,
but are you expecting a recession this year?
I hate to predict things like that. There is a period of transition, because what we're doing is very big. We're bringing wealth back to America. That's a big thing. And there are always periods of, it takes a little time. It takes a little time. But I think it should be great for us. I mean, I think it should be great. It's going to be great ultimately for the farmer.
So during the campaign, you said, I'll fix everything on day one. And now that you're president, you've turned into George R.R. Martin. You guys, these things take time. Also, if someone asks you, will there be a recession, and you give a super long answer that concludes it will be great for the farmers, that is not reassuring. It will be great for the farmers, and in a way, we'll all become farmers, because food will be so expensive, you'll have to start growing vegetables in your backyard. My favorite vegetable, of course, the steak. Later on, Air Force One, Trump was asked again if he thought a recession was coming, and used a very convenient excuse to dodge the question.
Are you worried about a recession? Maria Bartiromo asked you, and you kind of hesitated.
I'll tell you what, of course you hesitate. Who knows? All I know is this: we're going to take in hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs, and we're going to become so rich, you're not going to know where to spend all that money. I'm telling you, you just watch. We're going to have jobs, we're going to have open factories, it's going to be great, and the plane is landing, and thank you for a lot of good questions, okay?
Oh, now he's Mr. Airline Safety? Great questions, everyone. I'm going to get back to my seat because I do believe I left my tray table down and we can't land until it's locked and upright. You've heard that a lot, and it's true. We love to lock it and get it upright. And why don't we all use this time to store our large electronic devices? We'll know when the economy's really doing bad when Trump starts giving Air Force One interviews wearing a parachute. That's a very interesting question. You're asking about it, but I would love to answer, but there's no stop. It's not just tariffs weighing on the economy. Mass firings of government employees are also causing anxiety and uncertainty. And now those mass firings are also reportedly causing tension within the Trump administration.
Tonight, Marco Rubio unloads on Elon Musk. The two men, according to the New York Times, getting into an explosive back and forth in a closed-door cabinet meeting. Musk accusing Rubio of not slashing staff at the State Department. Now, Rubio, who the Times reported, has been privately livid at Musk for weeks, calling him a liar and scornfully asking if he should rehire recently laid off State Department staffers just so he could make a show of firing them again. Musk wearing a suit and tie instead of his usual baseball hat, T-shirt, and jeans, punching back, telling Rubio he's, quote, good on TV, and then he implied not much else. Now, President Trump, according to the reporting, watched all of this like a tennis match.
Of course he did. Even when he's doing a press conference with Elon, he looks like he's in hour 3 of a match at Wimbledon. Trump wants everything to run smoothly until it gets boring. Then he wants chaos because it's fun. He's the kind of guy who would bring up politics at Thanksgiving just to get a rise out of everyone. You know what? This has been a really great dinner. Too good, actually. What does everyone think about the casting in the new Little Mermaid movie? Uncle Joe, you've had a few drinks. Why don't you go first? The one thing Trump said he would do was bring down prices on day one, and instead he's dismantling the government in order to transfer wealth from the poor to the rich and stoking fears of a recession. I don't want to exaggerate, but I think it's fair to say that Trump is lying.
Literally all the time.
This has been A Closer Look.